Hi. Um, I thought I would do my very first Substack live. So I was sat working today and I had like about 3 notifications of people who were live on Substack. And I just was thinking, why don't I give that a try and see what it's all about? 'Cause the best way to learn is to just jump on and go for it. So I am currently working in a co-working space in Leeds and there's nobody here. So I thought, why not just give it a try and jump on? So hello, thank you for joining me. Um, yeah, I don't really come with anything prepared or anything to talk about because I'm not someone who wants to like do teaching or anything like that. But I have just been working on my accounts. So I thought maybe just talking about life as a multi-passionate business owner, or a multiple business owner, alongside writing and having one published book and currently writing 2 more. I've got other businesses, mainly online, all online. Um, and I've just been working on my accounts, which is not my favourite thing. In fact, it's pretty boring, which is why I thought I'd come and do it in the office because there'd be a bit more going on, maybe a bit of distraction, but there wasn't. There was nobody here. So that was probably a good thing because it meant I didn't start yapping to anybody. But yeah, it's like when you have a lot of times, I think when you're on online, people really glamorize the business life, and there's loads of positives, of course, but one of the things like people don't always talk about is the admin side, the accounts, the boring, well, for a creative like me, things that are a bit more boring. Like the mundane, the planning, the just the social media side of it, that's not that boring, I don't think, but actually putting it together, like scheduling for the businesses, all that kind of stuff, is just not as exciting as, for me, things like the writing and the taking photos and the creating content and doing things like this. So that's another reason, because I've been down in accounting hell. So I thought this is like a bit of a it's not that creative, but a bit of a way of being more creative and practicing also being on camera. Because one of the things I want to do this year is build my YouTube channel as well. So it's getting even more comfortable in front of the camera. And live's different because obviously there's no editing, you can't cut things out, you can't take back what you've said or change your mind. And so, yeah, that's what I was thought my topic of conversation would be, and also like a little bit of an update. So, if you don't know, I'm currently writing 2 books. I've already got one book that I wrote and published nearly 2 years ago now, which is called Self-Wise, and it's all about for women in business or women who are looking to start a business or in the early stages of business, and lots of chapters about finding what makes you tick and understanding yourself better, what brings you joy, where your experiences lie, all those kind of things, and how you can bring it together to start building business, and actually how you can then eventually build multiple businesses, which is what I'm passionate about and what I've done. And now I am writing 2 other books that are still non-fiction, but very different. So the first one is more of a memoir style book, talk with chapters and poetry and musings about life over the last few years, my life over the last few years, obviously, and how life after a breakup, but not in a sad, depressing way, like in a this is all the fun things that I've done and learning about yourself more and all that. I do need to really get better at describing the book. So I'm not too far off finishing the first draft of that. The accounts have got in the way because I was on a roll last week and then I had to put it on pause. So I wrote quite a lot last week and the week before. And yeah, I'm really planning on getting it complete ASAP, at least the first draft, and then I can really just keep working through it. Maybe I might remember other stories that I want to include, keep editing it, and then eventually edit it properly and then publish it. And then the other book is for my mum and stepdad's business. They have a a bicycle cycling business shop that's celebrating its 80th anniversary this year. And so it's all about kind of like just keeping the heritage of that alive and the stories. And the 80th anniversary obviously was a good excuse to put something together. And that's very different, obviously, than the two other books that I've written or I'm writing, because it's not just my knowledge or my stories, it's bringing other people together. So that's been a little bit more not challenging, that's not the right word, but just more to it than I thought, because you can't just sit down and think, this is what I know about a topic, I'm going to write about it. So we've had people like submitting their stories of life in around the bike shop or their experiences. And I think my belief is that sport in general, but cycling and sport in general, one of my business is sports based. So this is why I have a strong belief about it, is that it's really good at bringing people together. It can be like a topic of conversation. And if you're into cycling or you're into whatever sport, people love to talk about their experiences, which is definitely what we find. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, and I think this week we should be featured in a national magazine about the cycling book. So that's really exciting, and I'll share more when I can, when it's live. I lost my my phone beeped and I lost my train of thought. And I think the other thing that I would share before I sign off and go get my train home, it's really weird actually, because I went to Barbados for 2 weeks, and then I've been back about 2 or 3 weeks, and the clock's changed, and now I'm in the office, like it's really light still at 5:20. The sun's shining, people are about on the streets, where before I went away, when I was here at this kind of time at night, it was pitch black, it was really cold, it was depressing. So yeah, it's really nice now that the sun's shining and I can do things like this, because I probably couldn't have done it. It would have been too dark and dismal. So yeah, one of the things when you've got one of the things for writing multiple books and having multiple businesses, and I'm not great at being organised, I'm not like super duper or anything like that, but organisation does factor in, and also just like splitting your time. So like I mix it up depending on how I feel. So like some days I might work totally on one business or one book, and other days I might do, say like if I'm doing the social media planning, I might do it for all of them, because you're in that social media zone, so it depends. Or like the accounts, I've been focusing on all of them because I'm in that accounting zone, if that makes sense. So I don't think you always have to do the exact same thing, and if you're like me and you do get a bit bored, then it does mix it up. So yeah, I don't know if there was anything else I wanted to say. I feel like maybe I should have planned something more before I just thought randomly to go live on the internet. But yeah, my current goals are to obviously grow my Substack. I love Substack, which is why I want to learn more about what you can do with it, not just writing. Like I love writing the columns that I write. I love reading other people's work and being inspired. I think it's just such a great creative space. So I really want to grow that. I really want to grow my YouTube channel. I have got a video ready that needs just editing, and then that'll be live. So I'll probably get that by the end of this week. I do find it more not as easy as writing. Obviously, writing's, I suppose, my thing, and you've got to kind of sit down and make time more for creating video. And I feel like there has to be more, not structure, because obviously there has to be structure when you write, but I don't know. I feel like takes a bit more effort. You can't just do it sat in bed in your PJs. Well, I suppose I could, but I prefer not to. And then the other big goals are to finish both the books that I've been talking about. The cycling book, I feel like we do have a title possibly, and my book, I definitely do. I've got a title, but I want to make like more of a thing about it rather than just saying what it is like, you know, do a bit of a post and all that marketing jazz that goes with it. I feel like that's one of the things I learned from the first book, which obviously you put into the second book, doing the work in the second book, is like marketing it better. And that's why I keep talking. I'm trying to talk about it more while I'm doing it. The first book, Self-Wise, I didn't talk about that much while I was doing it. And then it was just like, oh, here's a book. And then by the time I'd sort of published it, I'd kind of like moved on, which I feel like a lot of writers probably think that. Like, I was like, I don't really want to talk about business as much in the same way. So that's interesting. So I need to be aware that that can happen. I suppose when you've been working on a book for a long time, you've consumed it, you've done all the stuff as much as you can, and then want to move on to the next project. So that's what I really need to do, is make sure that I don't jump on to the next project quite so quickly. I didn't jump on necessarily to writing a book, but I was just like, right, I want to change what I talk about as an online presence or whatever. So yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching my live. If you have watched live, or if you've watched the replay, I think you can post the replay somewhere. That's my next job, is to find out how this actually works, for saving it and posting it and everything. But yeah, it's been nice to just have somebody to talk to, because although sometimes I feel like I'm very I don't know, like sometimes I like to chat to people and sometimes I don't. And today I was like, oh, I'm going to the office, I'll chat. And there was like literally been nobody here for 5 hours or however long I've been here. So I maybe did need to just have a little chit chat. So thank you very much for listening. And I hopefully will come back on live again another time. And if you haven't subscribed to my Substack, then you can do that. But thank you for joining me. Bye.